Welcome back to another episode of the Adventures of a Disney Dad podcast. This week, we are going to catch you up on all the latest Walt Disney World and Universal news. Very little amount of news this week. And then we are going to touch base on a 3-day itinerary to Walt Disney World. So we're going to talk about how Chip and I would plan a trip for a family of 4 to Walt Disney World if they were only going to go to the parks for 3 days. I think this is the toughest itinerary to plan because you either need to move up your budget to do a park hopper, or you need to plan on skipping one of the parks. So there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. I think it's a very common itinerary that I see over at the Magic for Less when I'm planning trips for families. You see a lot of 6 days, 3 days in the parks so that you can have a resort day and your 2 travel days, or you see the 5-day trips with 3 days in the parks and 2 days are travel days. So Chip and I are going to talk about some of the things that we look for and how we would plan out those itineraries. And hopefully you can get a little bit out of that and we'll go from there. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the news. Chip, today, just this morning, as we're recording, the trailer for Moana 2 just dropped. What did you think?
I haven't seen it. I
Oh
haven't
my
looked.
gosh, you haven't? Yeah. What kind of
So,
update is this?
so full disclosure. Today's my last day of school.
Oh,
With
congratulations to our
with with
teachers.
with kids, and my daughter had her third grade clap out. So I haven't been around my phone at all, and you can see over this shoulder. Sorry, my son's back there playing around, but I haven't seen it. I guess we're gonna have to watch as a whole family. Get ice cream tonight and watch it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, man. It's good. It's good. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think it is what I expected, but a lot of like going back to the old film, which makes me think that this storyline isn't gonna like stand on its own and worries me a little bit. But either way, we're really excited about it. I
Well,
know
well,
your family's gonna be excited
let me
about it.
let me ask this, as I haven't seen it or anything. Is it going to be more like Frozen 2 or like Cars 2, Cars 3 type of thing? You know how
I
Cars
think it's
2 is
more
more
like
towards.
Frozen.
Okay.
More like Frozen. And I think it's just going to be a different storyline, same characters, and maybe some of the same themes. We know Maui's in it. We know Ali Carvalho is going to be playing Moana, which is different than the live action Moana that's going to also be coming out, I think, later this year, if not early next year. I can't remember if that was one of the ones that got delayed.
It
But
got
either
delayed. Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
yeah. So exciting stuff. I know most families love Moana. We need more Moana in the parks,
Right.
and we're really excited about it. So check it out if you haven't. I think it's pretty cool, but it's a nice little teaser and taste. Next, we also got news from Universal this morning that they're going to have the new visitor center for Epic Universe is going to open in June. I'm going to be down there for that and really looking forward to it. They're going to have a massive model of Epic Universe. They're going to have new merch and they're going to have photo opportunities. Chip, we're all really excited about Epic Universe. My question for you about this is a little unique. When a lot of our Run Disney folks will attest to this, like when you go to a race weekend, you get a shirt before you run the race. But the rule is that you can't wear the shirt or it's like bad juju until after you run the race.
Ooh.
And that's you see where I'm going with this? I kind of feel the same way about Epic Universe. Like, can you really buy Epic Universe merch now if you don't even know that you'll get to go next year?
100% you can, Matt. And here's why. Being athletes, we've worn a jersey before we've played a game. You go picture day.
Yeah,
Listen, picture day. Think about this. If you got the new uniforms, you're wearing it for picture day or media day, but you're not playing in it for a couple of weeks. So I think it's okay.
yeah,
Now, listen, is it one of those that maybe you brag a little bit and hey, I got this merch, and I think that's why it is more than anything, especially like if you're going in January before it opens and you might get the t-shirt. Maybe it's one of those that it's a talking point. It's one of those you can talk to people. I don't know if I would buy anything yet until I go. That's like me, like I can't buy a Castaway Key shirt because I haven't been there.
that's exactly how I feel about it. I'm not buying any merch until I step foot in there. And the other thing too is like you know me, I like the subtle merch. So like getting the huge Epic Universe logo on a t-shirt is not my vibe anyway. But it's still pretty cool, and I'm really excited to see the model, see the layout. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of cool stuff there. So really looking forward to that in June. Next up, Dreams That Soar at Disney Springs has now debuted for a few days. That's the drone show that's happening nightly at Disney Springs at 9 p.m. and 10:45 p.m. The reviews have been fantastic. We're not going to do spoilers here. I've seen enough of it that I don't want to see more because I don't want it to ruin my experience. But the opening night was bat crazy,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, like no place to stand. I've never seen Disney Springs that busy, and I've been there when it's busy. That said, like the crowds are very quickly dying off. I think there were a lot of like people that wanted to be there for the opening night and all that stuff. But I would not expect that it's going to be that crowded. There's an area to stand like in front of House of Blues along the railing, which is like the good area to stand. But then there's also a field that you can sit in that, can get kind of crowded at Disney Springs. But there's a lot of other areas where you can see it. Chip's going to watch it, I'm sure, at the carriage house at Saratoga Springs, where he's going
No.
to be staying. No?
I so kind of going, if you're going to stay at Saratoga, walk over to Disney Springs. They're not playing the music, and it's kind of reverse.
Oh,
They're not playing the music
interesting.
from there. So I was going to say that you got to walk over. It's one of those things you got to walk over.
I didn't know they weren't playing the music. That seems like a
A miss.
missing.
I agree. It's a
But
miss.
at the same time, they want people to go over and pay, go in the businesses and
Did you see
spend money.
there was something came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Haleo is offering a meal there, like a tastings meal, like almost like a after, or not an after hours, but a dessert
Dining at
party
like
type
a
thing.
dessert party, yeah, and you're gonna be able to sit on their rooftop, which is nice. And it was only I think like $80, which
70,
is not
75, $80. Yeah, something like that.
yeah, not bad. And I won't be surprised if you see other specific offerings from some of the restaurants and stuff like that there. Like I would love to see Gideon's do like a Dreams That Soar cookie or something special for like that time of night because they do a happy hour cookie that's like a hot cookie at a certain time.
They do have, so they have the morning. I got it too. It's a cinnamon roll type cookie, and then they do a dark. It's coffee cake cookie, and then in the evening they do a dark coffee cake cookie. I'm with you. They need to do a play on that with that. So
I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity there, and I'm sure those places are going to take advantage of it. And I'm also sure that this is certainly helping all of the businesses at Disney Springs because it's free. It's getting more people, in the shopping area and walking around and spending their time there. And I think everybody, all the guests that I've talked to that have trips coming up are making this a priority,
oh yeah,
which I think is unique. It does frustrate me a little bit. One of my families that's going down next week on June 3rd, they want to do it on their first arrival night, and they've got little kids. And so their kids are my kids' age, right? So 5 or 6 and 3, 6 and 4. And are you really gonna have them out at 9 p.m. and then rope drop the next day? That's what makes me a little nervous. You're talking about these short itineraries. I don't like to rope drop anyway. And I think keeping them out that late is a little risky. What do you think about that, Chip?
I don't really have an issue with it as long as you're staying closer to your schedule. If you put your kids to bed at 7:30, then yeah, maybe it's a little bit screwed up a little bit, but on a travel day, it does get a little dicey on that travel day if you're waking up at the butt crack of dawn to get there. Now, if you're
And
normal wake,
starting your trip that way. Like
I'm okay.
starting your trip that way is what makes me nervous.
I'm okay with starting the trip that way. I think it would just be like our flight's at 5:30 a.m. out of Columbus. So I'm not going to do it that night, but if I was leaving at 10, 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning getting there, I don't have an issue with that. But going with starting the trip, I don't know, man. It's one of those, if you have a dining reservation, like an 8 o'clock, a 7:30, 8 o'clock dining reservation, you're going to see it and then leave. And the parks aren't opening early. Like it's 9 o'clock open or 8:30 early entry. So as long as you're, as an adult, can get up at 6 and get your kids halfway motivated by 7 o'clock, you can catch that bus. So
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because this will be part of our itinerary planning that we're going to do on this episode. So let's just jump right into that, Chip.
yeah,
the crux of this episode is probably the most common situation that I get at the Magic for Less, and I think it's really good to talk to people about because it's the general basic family of four, so you don't have the complicated factors of five or more needing a specific resort or multiple rooms or anything like that. So we're keeping it very basic here. If you've got a family of four and it's their first trip to Walt Disney World, Chip, let's say their kids are like 6 and 4, first time going to Disney, you've got a set budget, but they're not being like really tight about it. They're budget conscious, like most families are, right? Like they're not going to
Yeah.
blow it all out, but at the same time, like they don't want to go and stay at the Polynesian. With that in mind, let's start with the way we would basically plan a trip. What We're not going to go through the time of year. I don't want to do that. But
No.
where would you prioritize their resort?
So my initial thought was you either got to go like Caribbean Beach and stay on the Skyliner, like Pop Century Caribbean Beach, or if we want to test the budget a little bit, we're going to do Animal Kingdom to Wilderness, that kind of that opening tier of deluxe. That's kind of where I would go. Caribbean Beach mostly because of the Skyliner. That's the big key. Like I think that's the biggest steal in terms of transportation. And you can go to all the different resorts, and we'll get into that. I'm talking about different days, but I think that's the way I would go.
And I think what's beautiful about that is it's perfect for park hopping because
Yeah.
you're on the Skyliner. So let's say Chip is going to take the family on a park hopping trip. So you're going to do your itinerary based on the family staying at Caribbean Beach. They're going to do 3 days of tickets with park hopper. And I, on the contrary, am going to do no park hopper, but we're going to use that money to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay.
And where I think that that's really beneficial is that you can avoid going to Animal Kingdom. And I know I joke about this all the time, but I will say I've fallen in love with Animal Kingdom lately. I think it gets a really bad rap. And Chip, you and I have talked about this a lot. We talked about it while you and I were there at Animal Kingdom. It gets a really bad rap as like a half day park or a park that you should easily skip. And that goes right there with like the old advice about Epcot, that Epcot is like an educational park and not as fun, the kind of park that we grew up with. And it's not that way anymore. So
Yeah.
from my perspective, the beautiful part about staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge is you've got access to the savannas and the animals right there behind the pool,
Yeah.
and you can walk around, you can see them, you can get that full experience. You've got awesome dining options. You can have Boma, hit the pool on your resort day, because we're talking about a 6 day itinerary. You've got a resort day built in there. Spend your resort day at the pool, and then, you hit Boma and you sit and watch the animals at the savannas, and you get a lot of that Animal Kingdom experience. And that's not to say that there's not a bunch of other awesome Animal Kingdom stuff to do. If you're going to cut back a little bit but also get a great resort, I think it's a great option. So
Yeah.
let's talk now about like our park days. Yeah, Chip, well, what day are you going to make your resort day? Are you going to stick it in the middle or at the beginning?
Well, so how many nights were there? 6 nights, right?
There's 6 days, 5 nights.
Okay.
So you've got one resort day, 3 park days, and 2 travel days.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in the middle.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it right in the middle. Mostly, yeah, I put it in the middle because I'm probably gonna go 2 park days in a row, and I'm gonna take a break, and
Okay.
then leave my last day full park day, just so we can probably do whatever we want. We're gonna stay up late, and we can rest right there in the middle. I think that's what I would do. What about you?
I would do the exact same. I think I would do 2 days in the parks, and then the second day of the trip, I'm going to stay up late with the kids, which then we're going to wake up and have our rest day the next day. And we're going to stay at the resort, go to the pool, do all the things I just talked about, and then have our last day is going to be at a park. And we're going to blow it out again. We're going to stay out late that night too. But that's also the reason why, like on this itinerary, it makes me nervous to stay out late. You do your travel day and go to Disney Springs for dinner. Staying out late that night, can make it a little rough. But let's talk about parks.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have Park Hopper. What are you doing for your first? Well, let's talk about all 3 park days with Park Hopper. What are you doing?
All right. So first day I'm going to go to Hollywood Studios just for the simple fact that I don't know if we're getting up late, if we flew in late or if we had a late dining, we can get right on the Skyliner and go right to Hollywood Studios. And I'm going to rope drop and I'm going right to Rise or Slinky Dog. With those kids, I'm probably going leaning towards Slinky Dog just to get that out of the way. So that's day one.
And
I'm
you're not gonna hop. Are you
no
gonna
no
hop?
I'm gonna hop. I'm gonna hop, and I'm probably going to might hop to Magic Kingdom that evening, just to maybe see, so the kids can see the castle. That's what I would do. My second day, I'm getting Genie Plus, by the way, and all of this, and I might be a stacker now, Matt. I've been watching a lot of videos for our upcoming trip, and I might be stacking.
Just as a good segue there, I have a YouTube video coming out all about stacking, probably within the next week. So
Okay.
keep an eye out for that. I've already recorded it. I've started editing it, and it's quite a doozy. But anyway, stacking. So you're stacking your Genie Plus. What are you doing for day 2?
Day two, I'm going to rope drop Animal Kingdom.
Okay, and then where are you hopping?
I'm hopping and probably ending in Epcot.
So are you doing a nighttime show at Epcot then over
I
Fantasmic?
I don't know if I'm doing the nighttime show. I might finish at Phantasmic, like going in at 8:30, whatever, and finishing there. I'm this kind of goes back. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. I'm gonna rope drop and I'm gonna try and get as many rides done at Animal Kingdom and be done by 11 o'clock with Animal Kingdom. I know we say it's not a half day, but ride wise, you technically could. Now, there's great shows you might finish, like going to Nemo or going to the Lion King. For that age, I mean, to take a break, because that's what we preach, is taking a break. Be out of there by 11 o'clock because it's normally the one that opens first. So I'm going to end at Epcot there. My last day, I'm probably rope dropping Magic Kingdom. I'm
This is
going
going to be
to.
controversial. I can tell.
I know it is. I'm gonna. You know what? No, sorry. Let's end that. This stinks. By the way, I'm gonna rope drop Epcot to get on Ratatouille or Frozen.
Okay.
I'm probably just doing those two rides, maybe Soarin', and I'm probably gonna take the monorail over to Magic Kingdom and stack from there to go to Magic Kingdom and end at Magic Kingdom. The more I thought about that on the fly, and I'm gonna spend as much time at Magic Kingdom that last day and that end of that first day, just to plan so I hit all 4 parks and hit the e-ticket rides. I mean, like I said, I've never ridden Seven Dwarfs. I tried to get into it. I was too tall for it. So it every other ride I think you can get a lightning lane for or John Genie Plus. So I
Or
think you get
virtual queue for Tron.
virtual queue for Tron. So it's one of those that Magic Kingdom has the most rides, but it's also the most you can stack it and take advantage
Mhm.
of it in an evening. So that's what I would do.
What days, if any, are you going to go to Disney Springs? Are you going on your first day when you arrive, or are you going on your resort day?
So I'm staying at Caribbean Beach, right?
Yep.
I'm probably going there on my arrival day and potentially my last day, rope drop it, just for the fact that if there's anything I need to go buy gift wise, and I'm going to try and do dinner there because my resort day, I'm going to try and go eat at a resort.
Good call. You could pop over to the
Be,
Riviera, do
go to
Topolino's.
I could go to Beach Club, Yacht Club somewhere over there. Like I'm on the Skyliner, so that's why. And it's a ride.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
absolutely is.
what about you, Matt?
It
What do you
absolutely is.
think for
So,
parks?
so for me, I think what I would do is the first day, again, since we're not going to be going to Animal Kingdom, the first day is going to be spent at Epcot. And the way that I'm planning this out is that I want my late nights to be where I'm not going to a park the next day, right? So full day 2 is going to be Hollywood Studios. Full day 3 is going to be my resort day. Full day 4 is going to be Magic Kingdom. And that way I can do Phantasmic at the end of full day 2. I can do the fireworks at the end of full day 4. And both days, the next day, I'm going to be able to sleep in with the kids. First day, I'm doing Epcot. You're hitting that virtual queue for Guardians. If you can rope drop, do it, right? I think that's one thing that you and I tend to agree on is that if you can pull it off and your family's up for it and you can get up and you're not going to ruin anybody's attitude about the day, go for it. Like, by all means. I just never end up that way because we never get going as a family early enough to be able to pull that off.
And
So,
I think there's another factor you never factor in, but I do thinking about it now. You're also an hour behind on your day than I am.
sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, like that is a real factor too. The time change does matter. So, for me, I'm an hour behind. It does absolutely make a difference. And it makes a difference for the kids too to get acclimated
Yeah.
after a day of travel and that kind of thing. I'm definitely hitting Disney Springs the first night, our travel night, because I like to take like a 10 a.m. ish flight. So if we're arriving around like 1:30 after the time change, I'm guessing we're gonna go to Disney Springs and spend some time there in the early evening. I don't know that we're gonna stay for Dreams That Soar, but I would like to. Like, to me, that's a play it by ear kind of thing. If you feel like the kids are holding up well, you check it out at 9 o'clock. I'm definitely not doing 10:45 with little kids. There's just no chance. Solo, I think it'd be great. Definitely not doing that with little ones. But we're gonna hit Dreams That Soar if possible that first night. And if not, we're probably skipping it
Yeah.
because that resort day we'll probably still go to Disney Springs for dinner, or we'll do dinner at the resort like at Animal Kingdom, something like that. But we might go to Disney Springs for dinner that resort day. But I'm not keeping the kids out late that night when we're going to Magic Kingdom the next day. And they went out late the night before for Phantasmic. As
Yeah.
much as I want to try and do those things, my wife would murder me. So it's just for our kids, it's pushing it a little too much. If you got older kids, go for it by all means. But the first day, we're making sure we're hitting Guardians, we're hitting either Remy's or Frozen, probably not both. The only way you can really do both is if you do Genie Plus and Rope Drop, unless you want to stand in a long line, right? Like one of them you're going to have to wait in a long line for unless you rope drop and get Genie Plus. Because, and the reason for that is like if you rope drop Ratatouille, then you can book Genie Plus on Frozen and vice versa. But by the time you get out of there, usually the other one is sold out of Genie Plus.
Yeah.
So by the time you can make your next choice, you're not going to be able to get one of those on Genie Plus. And then we're going to spend a lot of time doing stuff around whether there's a festival or stuff around Epcot. My kids absolutely love to do the face painting there. So we'll get the kids face painted in the Africa area and we'll just kind of hang out and enjoy the day. I don't think there's anything there from a ride standpoint outside of those three that I've mentioned that are like we absolutely have to get done or the kids are going to be really disappointed. We're going to prioritize meeting characters because there's a lot of character meals, character meet and greets, princesses. The new Communicore Hall is going to be open where you can meet Mickey and friends. So we're probably going to hit that. We're going to meet Asha, which is another one that's newer. Moana's there now. We can do the walkthrough. There's a lot of really good things to experience there that we're going to prioritize, but it's a much more relaxed day because you don't feel like you have to jump from thing to thing to thing, the whole time. There's a lot
Yeah.
to be able to hit. Second day, we're doing Hollywood Studios. Or rope dropping if possible, but no matter what, Genie Plus, Slinky Dog is the selection, right? You're picking Slinky Dog first because you have to, otherwise you're going to miss it, right? It's not going to be available after like 7:10, and so it has to be your first selection. My kids absolutely love it. It's a priority. We're going to prioritize eating at Rodeo Roundup Barbecue or Woody's Lunchbox, something like that. Or we might pop out of there and go to a resort for a meal like the Riviera. But that to me seems like a lot sometimes to pop in and out of, especially if you're not doing park hopper with little kids. So we're probably just going to hang out at Hollywood Studios for the day. Then we're going to make sure we hit Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster if it's open, meet some characters in Galaxy's Edge, hang out, and do a lot of that stuff. But a lot of the Toy Story stuff is going to be the priority. Watch Frozen After so that I can take a nap. I think we'll make sure we hit that. And then, you're making sure that you can hit Phantasmic at the end of the night. And as I discussed earlier with the stacking, you have to know how to stack Genie Plus if you're going to have Genie Plus at Hollywood Studios. Because if you get a return time for Slinky Dog after 11 a.m., you're going to be stacking Genie Plus. That's the way that works.
Yeah.
Because you can't clear out Slinky Dog until you ride it. So if you get a return time at 3:30 p.m., your next lightning lane is 2 hours after the park opens, not when you first ride Slinky Dog. So you're going to be in that pattern of if the park opens at 9, you're making a lightning lane selection at 11, a lightning lane selection at 1, a lightning lane selection at 3, a lightning lane selection at 5, so on and so forth. So stacking becomes really important. It's something you've got to know if you're going to use Genie Plus and you're going to go to Hollywood Studios. Ending the night at Phantasmic, hitting the earlier show, not the later one, because we've got the little kids. Then we're getting the heck out of there, going back. Resort day the next day, and then our last, full day is going to be Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We're going to do rider swap for Tron. We're going to do the virtual queue, but my kids aren't riding Tron. I think Chip, your older ones are definitely big enough to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to ride it, right?
Yeah, they'll do it, and I think we're going to do right now. This goes back. I had a question about rider swap. So if we rider swap, does my wife? So say I go first. Will she then go right through the lightning lane versus
it's through the lightning lane? You don't get to go straight to the front of the ride. You go through the lightning lane again. And the lightning lane at Tron is not short. Now, and keep in mind, you're not talking about the lightning lane for Tron. You're talking about the virtual queue, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you'd be first of all, the individual lightning lane for Tron is long. The virtual queue is long.
Longer.
The virtual
that's
queue
fair.
line is like an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour. So if you're in the virtual queue with rider swap, which is most likely what you're going to do, because I don't think people pay for individual lightning lane as much anymore with Tron, because it's a lot easier to get the virtual queue. And when Tiana's comes out, it's going to be much, much easier to get the virtual queue.
Yeah.
So if you do the virtual queue, you're going to go through with Bear or whoever, whichever one of your kids, you're going to ride with them. Bear is the one that tags the rider swap. Your child is the one that tags the rider swap with the person at guest relations at the front. And then when you come back out, he gets to ride again with your wife, but they have to go through the virtual queue line all over again. Now, on a normal attraction, it's like if you go do that on Slinky Dog, you're going through the lightning lane line, which is much shorter. But like when we've done rider swap on Tron, the virtual queue line is never short. I'm sure there's better data on that than just, my experience, and other people may have had a different experience. But from everything that I've read and all the guests that I've had go, it's never a short experience. So you got to keep that in mind. But Tron is going to be a priority. We always buy individual lightning lane for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because the wait is consistently over an hour. My kids love it, and we're not waiting an hour in line.
And you don't rope drop. So I'm a rope dropper. Now we're going to try it this year. I know I'm not going to ride it. So I think Kelly's going to take 3 of the kids and I'll take 2 of them with me and she can go ride it with them. So that's the only thing. That's the only way I would suggest it, unless you do it last thing at night.
And you can do it late at night after the fireworks or during the fireworks, and you can get a short line. There's no doubt about that. But for us, we just it's just pay the money. Like I'd rather just pay the money. We're not buying park hopper, so you're saving a little bit there. So throw that money towards the individual lightning lane. And we also wouldn't buy any other individual lightning lanes. So then we're going to try, if Tiana's is open, we're doing the virtual queue for Tiana's. We're hitting Big Thunder Mountain. That's going to be a priority. My kids love that. We're going to try and do Princess Fairy Tale Hall, Meet Mickey, that kind of thing. We're eating at Casey's for sure. Like whether that's lunch or dinner. And then the last thing that I like to recommend people splurge on, and I do this for my family, like our one big splurge is usually the dessert party. I think it can be expensive, $120 or whatever per person, but it's usually worth it because you get the guaranteed seating for a good spot at the fireworks. And if you only do the fireworks once, especially for this family is going to be their first ever trip to Walt Disney World, sometimes you don't know when you're coming back, right?
Yeah.
That's just the reality. Like you and I go all the time, but there are a lot of other families that don't go frequently. And to me, like if you can afford it and then you can fit it in your budget, healthy, do it because you get that guaranteed spot on the hub grass. Forget the food, forget the drinks. Like to me, all that's a bonus. You're paying for a guaranteed good seat for the fireworks. And
Yeah, and
I think it's worth it every time.
I think one of the big things is it's honestly the difference between you going to a table service that day and not. Just do two quick services plus you get a dessert party, so you're getting snacks and dad and mom can have adult beverages and
And you're
kids
not
are
going and
happy.
buying like ice cream or stuff at the confectionery. You're not buying cookies because you get the dessert party. Like the one thing that we like to do is we'll go get our table at the dessert party, which is in the Tomorrowland Terrace, right by the Hubgrass bathrooms there.
Yep.
We'll go over to Casey's and mobile order and get all our food and bring it to our table at the dessert party. So we'll eat dinner at a table where there's like no crowds, like there's plenty of room. You got all your drinks are there. You can have adult beverages, and then you can have the kids can have dessert. They can decorate cookies. Like there's fruit, there's cheese, there's all kinds of great stuff. But you just get the quick service meal and pop it over, and you're good.
Yeah.
They let you park your stroller back there, which is also great when you're trying to get out of Magic Kingdom at the end of the night because it's right by that back alley. So to me, it's perfect, and that kind of covers all the park stuff. You mentioned it a little bit. And I think this is one thing that I would add to the end of my itinerary. But on your travel out day, assuming you're like a mid afternoon flight, are you doing anything in the morning?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing
Um,
in the morning?
so depending on what we haven't done, if we haven't swam, if the kids want to swim, we're probably going to Disney Springs. We're gonna go get Gideon's cookies to take with us. Matt and I did that this year. We're probably gonna go to the store, go buy their last souvenir, and maybe do a brunch type of setting. Maybe we're gonna go to do a brunch setting. If you have the dining plan, which I know we didn't really talk about, and that save a last credit to do a brunch at Art Smith's homecoming or going to the boathouse.
1900 Park Fair at the Grand Floridian. Do breakfast
Yeah.
there. That's a great
Um,
great solution too.
and I will say we didn't. I don't know if we're going to talk about it or not, but our resort day. I think one of the big steals that you can do is we like going to all the different resorts. Get on the monorail, ride the monorail. It's a ride, and we'll watch
Mhm.
fireworks from the Poly.
It's a great option too. Get some ice cream at the Polynesian, head out to the beach, let the kids run around and watch the fireworks. I mean, I love that for a resort day. I think that's a great option, especially for Caribbean Beach because you're so close, but you're still taking a bus.
Yeah,
Like you got to keep that in mind too. Like either Animal Kingdom Lodge or Caribbean Beach to get over to the monorail resort line, you're going to have to take a bus to Magic Kingdom and then walk over, or take a bus to Epcot, walk over, do those kind of things. But I think what you hit the nail on the head for is the your travel day out, going in the morning to Gideon's, getting coffee, getting cookies to take home. To me, is clutch because there's not really a great other day to like work that in as like a rope drop. Maybe you get it after dinner, but it's going to be a little crowded. Yeah, I can't imagine Gideon's line around the time that Dreams That Soars popping off, right? I just anticipate just going to be really long, and you may get the text back line, but you may not. It may just be the normal, wait 30 to 45 minutes in line, and I'm not happy about that. So the day that I leave, I want to be able to take Gideon's cookies home. So we'll hit that up as a rope drop or whatever, get coffee, and then go back to the pool or do something like that before we head out. And that really covers, a 3 day, 3 park day itinerary
yeah,
the way that we would do it. Well, one option that Chip presented is with park hopper hitting all 4 parks, staying at Caribbean Beach. I talked about 3 days with skipping Animal Kingdom, staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge instead, getting a little deluxe feel for your resort day. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope it helped you plan your next Walt Disney World vacation. You guys know where to find us on social media. I'm at Adventures of a Disney Dad. Chip, where can people find you just in case?
Robinson Dad Life on Instagram.
And and there he is. And if you're interested in me planning your next Walt Disney World or Universal vacation, I am a travel agent with the Magic for Less Travel. All my services are free to you I would greatly appreciate the support. We also appreciate any support on the website, adventuresofdisneydad.com, any of our Amazon links. All those things go to help the show and help the podcast and all the things that we do over here at Adventures of a Disney Dad. The link to get a free quote, are in the show notes, along with a link to adventuresofdisneydad.com. Check out some of our latest articles. Use our Disney dining plan calculator. Find out if it's good for you and your family. And we appreciate you listening. We appreciate the support, all the reviews on the podcast. Again, it means a lot to us, Chip and I. Let us know if you have questions, and we will see you in the parks, and we'll catch you next week.
We'll see you when we see you.